Hello and welcome. You're about to hear from some amazing, hardworking self-starters who've taken the leap of faith to build a business of their own right here in Polk County. This is Polk Entrepreneur. Welcome to Polk Entrepreneur. On this episode, we highlight two women who made great sacrifices to get their businesses off the ground and running. Our first entrepreneur found herself turning her husband's hobby into the sweet success of one of Winter Haven's iconic bakeries. This is the story of Carissa Hughes and the Gourmet Goodies Bake Shop.
Well, my husband and I started baking as a hobby, and actually my husband is the original baker. All the original recipes are his. He was doing it just for fun, and we started taking the cakes and cupcakes and cookies and things that he was making to my work at the time, and people just loved them. And so one thing led to another, and we started getting small orders, and we started catering for a small cafe. So it just kind of snowballed from there. We started in Lakeland, and we went through a season where we had to, basically I was unemployed, and so we had to make a decision what we were going to do. And we took this hobby and we decided, okay, we're going to make this our full-time job. And so we baked cupcakes, usually 100 or 200 at a time, and that was a big number for us. And we would go door to door to just sell our cupcakes. So we would make the cupcakes, we'd package up the cupcakes, and I would load them up in a big container. And we did a lot of social media. So those were the opportunities that we would find where some people would contact us and ask us to come, but then I would go to Lakeland Regional Hospital or UPS or Rita Staffing, and I would literally leave there and I'd go to the next business beside of them and knock on the door and say, hey, do you want to buy some cupcakes? And so I had to literally just go door to door to door, and as I did, people would ask us to come back the next week or come back, as we developed that route. So we did. We went door to door in our truck with a big box of cupcakes and just said, hey, do you want to buy cupcakes? We started with a little cart at the Lakeland Mall, and we were there for about 30 days, and it just gave us a good opportunity to get the feel of what we were doing. And from there we decided, we need a place that we can afford to do this more on a long-term basis. And so we had to knock on doors again and look for opportunities and figure out ways and how are we going to do this and where are we going to sell. And so a door opened up for us at Eagle Ridge Mall, and they were super kind to us and very good to us and allowed us to come in. And every week we'd come in, we set up our tables, and we would bring in our product, and we were there on the weekends. Is how it started, and that was consistent for several months. And the management there approached us about having a kiosk, and so they actually supported us a lot and helped us get the kiosk, and we redecorated the whole thing, and we did it all ourselves. We didn't have a huge budget or a lot of money to do anything with, so we had to get really creative. But as we continued to build up a clientele there, we were open more and more, and we were doing like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then we started Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And so we just continued to every day brought in our product, and people just continued to support us, and they loved our cupcakes and our cookies and our cake pops, and we just kept going. We decided it was go big or go home. So at that point, we were actually leasing a small kitchen in downtown Lake Wales. And so we were making everything there. We were having to pack everything up and transport everything to the mall. And so it's a lot. It's a lot of your time. It's a lot of labor. And so we decided it was time to find a place to call home. And so we looked at a location on Cypress Gardens Boulevard in Miller's Landing Shopping Plaza. And that opened up the doors for us to have our first small bakery. It's about 1,000 square feet, and we just completely renovated the place. Again, my family did most of the work. Everybody pitched in and grabbed a paintbrush and made it happen, and it was super great. That was an awesome place. We loved it there. There was huge leaps of faith for us. I mean, we literally lived day to day. We didn't have any other savings. We didn't have any other sources of income. There was nothing for us to fall back on. We had to sell cupcakes. I mean, we had no choice. We were going to survive. We were going to sell cupcakes. You definitely have a lot of concern about the financial obligations that you're committing yourself to, and what's going to happen. Are those people going to follow me from the mall? Are those people going to continue to come to a new location where I didn't have the resources of the traffic from the mall? They had to come to my standalone shop at this time. So there was definitely a lot of concern there. We knew we were no longer going to work from Thursday to Sunday. We were going to be open 7 days a week. We were baking on location, which made it a lot easier, to do that. But we had, the hours to put in, to do the baking and then to be open for sales. So it is a huge commitment. It is a huge leap of faith. But you have to be committed to what you're doing, and you just have to, you have to grind. You answer every phone call. You follow up with every lead. You stay open as late as you have to. You work until 2 o'clock in the morning. You just never quit. I think it's in your DNA. I think a lot of people may wish they had a business, or they may, but it's tough. It's tough, and you have to have thick skin. You've got to be tenacious. You've got to be kind, but you also have to be tough, and you've got to be able to endure, in addition to all of the things that it takes on our part, though, it also takes people who we meet along the way. Every step of the way, we had people who came into our life who believed in our vision, who supported us through each and every step. We were approached by Tom Wolf and Company. Jeff Donaldson approached us about moving downtown. They're really revitalizing the area, and thought we would be a good fit, and we're very grateful for that. Been super good to us, and they opened the doors for us to have our current location in downtown on Central Park, and we have 2,000 square feet now, and we've been here be almost 2.5 years now, so it's good. It's really good. I think for us, it is important to find, where you're supposed to be. And people were really sweet to us in Lakeland, but it's like you have to, where are the doors opening for you? Where are the opportunities opening for you? And I probably would have never just originally, I lived in Lakeland for almost 15 years, so I'm not sure I would have sat down and said, oh, Lake Wales, that's it. But I had to knock on the doors to see what doors and opportunities were available to me, and then not be afraid to go take it. That meant I moved to Lake Wales. I mean, we moved our home, we made this our life, so this is where we're going to be and exist. And so it is important to find where those opportunities are going to be for you. Me being in Eagle Ridge Mall, the customer base allowed us to continue to be there. So those people, they chose to support us, in what we were doing. And so that's, had that not happened, we would have had to leave, So having the community support was huge, and getting involved in the community. I think that was another, I knew a lot of people in Lakeland, but I didn't know anybody in Lake Wales or Winter Haven per se. So it was important that people get to know who we were. They needed to see us out there and get to an opportunity to get to know us. But as you continue to grow, it's about growing and continuing to grow to where your goals and your vision will take you. Some people's goals may be different than mine, and maybe they would have been happy being at Miller's Landing, and that would have been a final point for them. For us, we dream bigger, we see bigger, and we felt like we could do more and handle more because we had an amazing team. And as the people continued to come around us to build that, we were able to build up a team to be able to do more. So, you are one person, and you fundamentally cannot do everything yourself. And so duplicating yourself in others is the key to your success. And it was important for me. My background wasn't baking. My background was management and business. And so it was important for me to go through those first 3 years that were super hard. I had to learn to bake. I had to learn to, make cupcakes. I had to learn to decorate. All that was new to me. So it was super hard, but it was necessary. I needed to be able to do it so that I knew how to help manage others to do it. And so as we continued to grow and people were brought into our lives, and we were able to build and create that team, we knew I know how important it is that the personalities fit, that the functions fit, that the task at hand is suitable for that person. So, and your team develops with that. You know, the longer they're with you, the more knowledgeable they are, but the more they represent you. And it's so important to me that I hire people who can know my heart. They know how we want to treat our customers. They know how we want to exemplify our business. They know how we feel about our community and supporting our community. So when they know that when they're here, they represent us. So they're extensions of everything we are and who we believe we want to be. So they know that, but they also know we love them and we care about them. And so providing that personal one-on-one relationship with them, it all builds together with our professional relationships.
For most people, when they think of a day at the spa, their imagination turns to a stress-free experience of therapeutic massages and soothing facials and skin treatments. But for the entrepreneur who runs that business, it can be a grueling start with many sacrifices. At the young age of 23, Erika Runkle decided to take on that task and turn what some considered a mirage into the Oasis Spa.
I wanted to work at a place where I could, spend the individual time with my clients and make them feel special and not have to rush them in and rush them out. And I just wanted a place where every time a client comes in, not just the first time when we're trying to, woo them into coming back again, but every time they come in, they feel just as important and like they're our only client whenever they come in. That was kind of my business motto, is wanted to have people, come in here and just feel awesome every time they leave. And whether they have different issues that they're coming in with or, different things with their skin, we tailor it every single time they come in to whatever's going on with them. I just started to look into doing things myself since I had gotten so fed up at working at other places, and started to look around for a place that I could rent and that I'd be able to afford. And I decided to move back in with my parents because that would be the best thing to do at that point, to not have, too much money I'd have to make every month, because it is really hard whenever you first start out with a business and everything. So I figured out how much my rent would be and how much product would be, and, cell phone and all that kind of stuff to be able to support the business. It was 4.5 massages a week is what I had to do. And that was one of the reasons why I was like, I could do this and start a business, because I, bare minimum what I needed to make just to survive. And I was like, you can definitely find 4.5 people a week to come and get a massage from you. Like, you can do that. When my friends wanted to go out to eat lunch and stuff, they would go and eat places that were outside, so I could actually bring my own food with me because I didn't even have money to spend to go eat at Subway or McDonald's or any of that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of sacrifice. You have to be willing to put that money back into your business, because if you don't, you can't grow. You have to spend money to make money, just like people say. So definitely, buying equipment that I wanted to have, and buying more expensive products, and being able to offer different services, because I bought, like a hot stone kit, and being able to do hot stones, essential oils, and different facial products and things as well, so I could offer different services to my clients, and having better equipment, upgrading things. I still buy stuff now, and upgrade stuff, because you have to stay with the times, and you have to continue to upgrade and improve, and make sure that you're also saving money to invest back into the business as well. Finding a location that was affordable was probably one of the hardest things, because everything was pretty expensive, and they wanted first, last, security deposit, and that would have been my whole $3,000 right there. And I knew I'd need like decorations and stuff, and facial product, we're being able to do facials as well, and then massage lotion. And so I just kind of did some research on how much it would cost for me to buy some stuff to be able to do the services I wanted to. There was another spa here in town that I went to school with one of the ladies, and she let me borrow her facial steamer, because I couldn't even afford to buy one in the beginning. And also another massage therapist, she let me borrow her massage chair so I could go and do events and stuff. So I kind of just put feelers out there to different people to see if they had anything that I could borrow for a while until I could afford to buy it myself. And just went and bought cheap paint and painted the walls. And, I literally went to thrift stores and garage sales and got some of the decorations and some of the seating and stuff that I had in there. I was not good with budgeting at all whenever I started the business, and I realized that was something that needed dramatically to change. when I opened it, because I knew with being a massage therapist, we were going to have really busy times and then really slow. And I mean, starting off, I would be slammed one week and then have 2 people the next week. So I just had to learn to be very frugal and, smart with saving my money, so that way I could get through, when it was going to be slower, whether it was, the summer or even sometimes, in the fall, it would get a little slow. And just knowing that, you need to save this money and make sure that you have it there and not spend it, and just, not bite off more than I could chew, because, there was a lot of stuff that I wanted to be able to buy and have for the business and all that kind of stuff. And I had to make sure I just kept that under control. With the business, I didn't have a lot of money to advertise, so word of mouth's the best way, and being able to talk to people face to face. So I did as many health fairs as I could that I found out about the area, and I got involved with some of the smaller groups in the area that, were cheap or free to be involved with. And I also literally went through the whole Lake Wales phone book and called every attorney, every insurance agent, real estate agents, banks, and just asked them if I could come give free chair massages at their facilities, to be able to get my name out there and see if they might be interested in coming in and paying for a massage. And it was really hard in the beginning too. I mean, you have to wear a lot of different hats. And I was only 23 and I was really shy then, believe it or not. So it was really hard. I really realized quickly that I needed to get out of my shell, and be more personable and talk to people, because you can't be an introvert and own a business. You have to be able to talk to people and let them know what you do and get them interested in what you do as well, because just because you talk to people doesn't mean they're going to want to get services done with you. And I knew, being very young, I needed to be a lot more professional than, somebody that might be a little bit older than me, because I wouldn't be taken very serious, like, 23-year-old just, she does massages and facials, Well, one of the things I had done when I first started the business is I had found a book, and it talked about how to have a successful massage therapy business and how to grow it quickly. And it talked about writing down all your goals, and to put crazy things on there. So my crazy goal was within 2 years to be so busy that I needed to hire another massage therapist and move out of the place that I was at. And it actually was almost 2 years to the month that I needed to move, because I had gotten to the point where I was so busy and I was having to turn away clients. And that's where, things can get a little crazy, because then you could lose somebody because they go somewhere else. So I started looking around for some property, and I found a place that I knew I could afford, and looked into what it would take to get into the facility, and then also do construction, how much that was going to cost and everything. And then looking for other massage therapists, interviewing them. And that's really hard, to interview somebody and talk to them and then, have them give you a massage and decide, okay, I'm going to let my clients, come in and see you. So that was another thing that was a new thing, was then having to decide, who to hire and all that kind of stuff. And anytime I hire anyone, even if it's just a receptionist, I usually interview them for almost an hour. And this is after I've talked to them, on the phone. And if it's a therapist or a facialist, or even a nail tech, I always have them do the services on me, so I can see, where they're at. And not that I don't hire people that are right out of school, but you can just tell when someone, it's a career to them and not just a job. Because they're just very passionate about it, and I like to hear their story of why they got into it, and it usually is a similar story to what I have. So I can usually just tell that, after talking with them for a while and then, filling their massage, because, passion you can't teach somebody, but you can teach them technique and, help them, raise the bar of, what they're doing. But finding somebody who has that passion and is going to treat my clients the same way that I treat them was very important to me. And I always let them know when I hire them, I've created a really good name for this business, and now I'm putting my name on you, and I expect you to come up to, the same expectations, because people have very high expectations, which is great. When they come in here, but I'm putting my name on you and the business name on you, so I need you to rise to that bar. So 4 years after I had moved into the last place that I was at, we were at full capacity, and I was actually already in the process of buying that building, because when I moved into it, I had talked to the owner about wanting to buy it, but of course 2 years in, no bank is going to give you a loan to buy a building, even though I felt confident on the way that the business was going. So we talked about, revisiting me buying it from her, when the bank would talk to me, and 4 years in, they were still kind of like, eh. So about 6 years in, up to having the business 4 years running from her, her and I had talked with the bank and everything, and I started the process. I'd already had them come out and do the appraisal and all that kind of stuff. And I just kept on hitting a lot of brick walls when we were doing that. I kind of wasn't thinking about moving, was kind of content with where I was at, but when I kept on hitting the brick walls and everything like that, I was like, okay, I think God's trying to tell you something. So I just really started to reevaluate, okay, are you satisfied here? Is this as far as you want the business to grow? Because if this is not, then this is not going to be a good choice, you know. And I knew this building was for sale, and so I went down and got the phone number from the sign in the window and called, and actually was a real estate agent that I knew. And so I was like, can you come show me this building, but I need you to not say anything because I'm in the process of buying the building where I'm at, but I'm starting to think that that's not the best decision for my business. And he was like, yeah, sure, no problem. I was very fortunate at the time. My roommate, she had worked in real estate for about 15 years. So she kind of knew what banks would be looking for. And then I kind of talked to some other people that had bought in buildings and things and just asked them, you know, what they had done, and took all that information and spent days writing a business plan that I felt like they couldn't say no to, because I knew I was buying the building and I didn't want them to tell me no. And I had already approached some other banks, and Center State was the first bank that was like, hey, you know, I think we'll do this for you, but we need you to do your research and we need to know that you're committed to this and that you can do it, and, you know, show your growth and what you're expected to do. And it was awesome. It actually made me more excited and more felt like I was more prepared to buy the building, just to see the business in a business plan, you know, where we had gone from, you know, from day one to 6 years later, and how much clients, you know, we had gotten and pulled from different communities. And we had almost 2,000 clients at that point that had come in the doors in 6 years. And I was blown away at that because, you know, I'm not a numbers person. I'm not the paper person. I'm the, you know, social, you know, one-on-one kind of stuff. So I was even blown away myself, and it made me that much more excited to, you know, take the next step in the business at that point. Well, my parents actually thought I was crazy. It wasn't until I bought the building that they were like, okay, she is really serious about this. They've always been real supportive, but they're just like, are you sure this is what you want to do? Because in 2007 is when the recession was happening and things were not going well at all. So it really wasn't the smartest decision, it seemed like, to be starting a business. But, you know, I just told them I was so unhappy, you know, working other places and everything. They were like, okay, that's what you want to do. And a lot of my friends thought I was crazy and really didn't support it. And it was just hard because my friends supported me, but they didn't really know how to help me. So along the way, I've made business friends that are around my age and even older, that have been great mentors, but then also going through the same stuff that I'm going through. And that's really what's been my support system. Not that my friends and family, you know, don't help, but they kind of don't know what to do because they don't own their own businesses, where the different women and men that I know now that own businesses and have for a long time or around the same time as me, it's great to be able to call them and be like, this is what happened today, you know, and they know exactly what to say. It's really hard. I mean, even when I was in the middle of applying for different licenses, they're like, oh, okay, when they come and do the inspection for this, you're gonna need to have this, that, and this. And I didn't have those other things, so then I had to go get those in place. And, you know, just not knowing how to market, because, you know, I didn't go to school for marketing or to be a business, you know, owner or any of that kind of stuff. So just trying to figure it out and what works and what doesn't work, and failing multiple times, but not giving up, you know, because that's part of having a business, is you're going to fail and you just have to learn from it and, you know, become a better business owner. And we do advertising on Facebook and, you know, different coupon books and different things in the area. We continue to do the same health fairs and different events every year, and, you know, involved with the chamber and Main Street. And just really support Lake Wales in general, because the more that you're involved in your town, the more that people are going to know you and see that you want to give back to the community and that you want to actually do stuff. So we constantly try to keep our name out there so that we can get new clients, and then also, you know, retain the clients that we already have and just always be out there in front of them and just let people see. I mean, I got involved with the Healthy Women program here at the hospital, and, you know, a bunch of people that are older are on that board, and I think they saw how much I was willing to invest and do things and offer stuff, and just really get involved and get to know them. And I wanted to, show them that I am professional and that, I did know what I was doing and that, I was going to be successful. And it was really rewarding when, years later, they were like, man, this is awesome. Especially when I moved the first time, people were like, I'm so proud, of what you did. Those same people that I could kind of tell, they're like, how old are you? Or like, wow, you bought your building 6 years in, and I'm like, yeah. And my friend was like, what is it like just to stand there and look and know that's your building? And I just told him, I can't even explain it. Like, it's wild that I would have never thought in 6 years that I would be purchasing a building and, doing construction on it and owning it, 6 years after buying the building. I was only 29 years old, and there's a lot of people that have businesses for 30 or 40 years and never, buy a building, So it was just a very rewarding time in my life. It was really hard because I didn't have the time to take off because I had to make money. So I was working in the evenings here and stuff until anywhere from 9 to 11:30, and it was really hard, but it was just awesome just to kind of see everything come together. I definitely killed myself for the first 7 years. I didn't take any vacation time. I had maybe done a couple of long weekends, and of course taken a couple of days off for the holidays and things, but I really did not take any vacation for 7 years, and it really wore me. And a lot of my friends started to kind of see that, and they're like, Erika, you've got to take vacation. You've got to take, more time away. You've got to have, you can trust your girls there, and you've got people there that can handle, running the business. And so it was in January that was my New Year's resolution that year, was to make sure that I started to make a conscious effort to take time off and take vacations and, turn my phone off and not check my emails and stuff, because for 7 years, that is what I did, and I was pouring my heart and soul into it because I loved it, and I still do. And so it was real easy just to get caught up in sending emails out to people and, making sure I'm getting all my products ordered, when I get off at work, and stay there until 9 or 10 o'clock at night. Because since I was single and I didn't have any kids or anything like that, I didn't have to worry about going home to anybody. So I started making sure that I took vacations and, stopped checking my emails late and making sure, to just get things done in a normal day's time and the normal business hours, and just know that, what's there tomorrow's there tomorrow, I realized that it was okay to not check everything off on my list, or most everything off on my list, everything. And then when I met my now husband, was shortly after that time, where I was trying to find that good balance of time for myself and my own life and the business. And I even told him, I know I work a lot and I'm changing that, and I want to make you a priority because I really see that this could go somewhere, and I don't want you to think that if this does go somewhere, you're going to be married to somebody that's going to be working until 9 or 10 o'clock at night every night. So meeting him really made a difference, to make sure I was making that time, because I wanted to at that point. It wasn't just my time to go hang out with friends or whatever. I was making a conscious effort to spend time with him. I love meeting other business owners that are about to, open up something, because I'm just like, let me sit down and talk with you and tell you what I wish I would have known whenever I first started the business. And I mean, people that own their own business are very passionate about it usually. So if you find a business that's, already flourishing in an area, you could sit down and say, hey, I know this might not be the same as what I'm doing, but is there any way that you would, tell me, how you did it? And, or maybe somebody they might know might, sit down and talk to them, because that's how I end up talking to some other business owners. They're like, hey, so-and-so told me I should come and talk to you because you had started a business. But, it takes passion. If you have passion, you'll be able to do it, because if you don't have that, then you just can't sustain, because it has to be something that you love. And when you love it, it doesn't matter how bad of a day you have, or a week or a month, or maybe even a year, you will stick with it. And that's what you have to do when you have a business, is to just not ever give up on it and know that you can do it, and get in a support group of, whether it's all kinds of different businesses, or, same kind of business, type things, or all women, or, whatever it is. But you can find those people out there that will help support you and show you what to do, and, just take you under your wing and show you.
That's all for this episode of Polk Entrepreneur. We'd like to thank Carissa Hughes and Erika Runkle for sharing with us their story of becoming entrepreneurs here in Polk County. If you have a dream of starting your own business, there are many resources available to help you get started. Contact Polk County Board of County Commissioners today at 863-534-6000, or polk-county.net to start making your dream a reality. Thanks for watching Polk Entrepreneur. I'm Cedric Joseph, your host. We'll see you next time.